Let me actually set a scenario for you to imagine. Let's say you have a business and you're looking for a no income proof business loan for a large amount. So basically, you want a loan that doesn't ask you for any type of income proof. How do you get that? How do you actually get a large amount of debt? Okay. So this is what I'll be talking to you into this conversation. So here's the overview I want you to pay attention to. It's important to understand that if your business is looking for a no income proof business loan, you got to bring something else to the table. So basically, you're asking the lender to grant you a loan without looking at your income. Okay, the lender might be okay with that, but my question to you is, boss, what are you bringing to the table? What kind of skin do you have in the game? Do you have good credit, for example, or do you have collateral to pledge, or do you have a business plan? Do you have something that tells the lender, hey, listen, I am in a position to repay whatever loan you grant me. I'm in a position right now to actually repay you. Because because you cannot show proof of income doesn't mean you're not making money. It just means that you have in some way, shape, or form no ability to prove the income. Okay. Now the thing is, just make sure whatever money you will have to repay the loan, that money, the source of that money is legit though. This is really important. Okay. So legitimacy is really important in terms of making sure that you are giving reassurance to the lender that, hey, listen, this is a legit business. Okay. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. We love having this sort of convos every now and then to talk about things that really matter here. And what I want to say here is that when you are considering a no income proof business loan for a large amount, I want you to really make sure that you have, I'll speak about those later on, but make sure that you have a business plan. You got to have a business plan. Okay, a business plan is quite essential because it really tells the lender that you have a vision, that you have thought about your business in and out, and that you have a plan to actually implement your business model and actually to generate revenue. Okay, simply because you don't have income proof doesn't mean, again, that no cash inflows are happening in your business. It just means that for whatever reason you cannot prove the income. Okay, so I want to have a clear foundation before we get into the nitty gritty, so that you are really you have a clear idea about the process, the steps you need to follow to get your no income proof business loan for a large amount. So here are the steps I really want you to follow right now. The first thing I want you to do here is to review your credit history. Oh boy, this is so important. I don't care what you do. I don't care what kind of situation you're in. I don't care how much money you think you're making right now. I don't care if you're asking for a no income proof business loan for 100,000 or for 10,000 or for 1,000 for that matter. You need to review your credit history. This is what I was just talking to you earlier when I said what? I said you got to have some skin in the game. And your skin in the game in this case might be that you need to have a high credit score. Okay, so review your credit history. So you want to pay attention to things like when we talk about credit history, we're speaking about both sides here. We're speaking about your personal credit, but also your business credit. So this is important because the lender will actually do those two checks. Okay, and so what you want to have happen, what you want to see clearly on the personal side is that your FICO score, your TransUnion, your Equifax, and Experian reports don't show any kind of dodgy entry. Like nobody's playing games with your social security number. Nobody's playing games with your identity. Like there are no instances of fraudulent activity. On top of that, you don't have collections, or you don't have any active collection or pending collections, okay, or charge-offs and whatnot, okay, or recent charge-offs. Okay, so this is important on the personal side. On the business side, I want you to make sure that you actually, first of all, you need to register with Dun & Bradstreet to have your DUNS number. You also need to make sure that you not only check, you have to order a copy of your paydesk score from Dun & Bradstreet. This is a necessary investment, boss, especially if you are trying to get a large no income proof business loan. Okay, and so you want to order your paydesk score from Dun & Bradstreet. You want to do the same thing with Experian, your IntelliScore Plus, score, and also you want to do the same thing with Experian business credit. They are important. So the first thing I want you to do is to review your personal and business credit histories. The second thing I want you to do here is to gather your financial documents. But when we talk about no income proof business loan, that doesn't mean that you don't have to provide any kind of financial statements. No income proof just means that you are not able to prove to a highest level of certainty the source of your income. If you're sitting there, you're just thinking that no income proof means that you are not providing any kind of documentation, you are out of your mind. I mean, I'm just telling you straight up because I think it's important. A lot of people don't tell you this on YouTube. People trying to really razzle dazzle you. They'll lie to your face, like they tell you no income proof means no doc. No income proof does not mean no documentation. Those are two different things, okay? No documentation is one thing and no income proof is another thing. No income proof doesn't mean that you are not going to provide some document. You are going to provide documents. You might be asked to provide, for example, business revenue reports, okay? For example, that your income statement, your company's income statements. The lender might want to see from you, for example, personal income reports, and the lender might want to see tax returns for the last 3 years. And when we talk about tax returns, we're speaking about tax returns at the personal level, but also tax returns at the business level. So for example, the lender will ask you, hey, listen, I want to see your 1040 for the last 3 years. Show me your 1040 for the last 3 years. And on the business side, I want you to see your form 1065 plus the accompanying schedules K1 for the last 3 years. If you have a C corporation, the lender will want to see your 1120 form for the last 3 years with the accompanying schedules K1. If you have an S corporation, it will be a 1065. 1120S. So bottom line here is that it's all about money, boss. Money. Can you gather some type of financial documents right now? It's important. It's important because saying that you have no income proof does not mean that you are not going to prove the source of your cash inflows. Remember, if the lender is giving you a loan, you got to show the lender that you are generating enough cash flow. Follow the money. You got to show that you are generating enough cash flow to repay eventually whatever loan you are granted. Okay, so this is for the lender something quite essential because they need to cover their asses too. I mean, they're giving you a loan and you have no income proof, you have nothing. Come on, what's up with that? Do you think this is really realistic? No. So again, don't let people razzle dazzle you about you can get a loan with no proof of income with nothing. No, nothing. This is not true. When we talk about gathering financial documents, there are other documents that are quite essential. Okay, so obviously you need to have financial statements. So when I talk about financial statements, I'm just talking about, let's say, the 4 types of financial statements. Okay, basically you have balance sheet, you have income statement, you have cash flow statement, and you have owner's equity statement. And the lender, in some cases, might want to have asset and bank account information. Why? Because depending on the industry you're in, like in this economy, things are really going up and down. The stock market is just, going like having a yo-yo movements every now and then. I mean, a lot of people are scared as hell. Okay, they're really trying to find out what really works for them. And so, if the lender wants to have asset information, it means that you might have to collateralize the loan. So if you're saying that hey, listen, I want to have a no income proof business loan, then you might have to collateralize the loan. If you want to collateralize the loan, then the lender has to pay attention to the source and the value and the worth of the underlying collateral, of the underlying assets. Okay, this is why the lender wants to have asset information. And the lender might also want to have your bank account information. They might ask you to provide bank statements. So it's all about making sure, even though you have no income proof, they still want to see your cash inflows and cash outflows at the bank level to have an idea. Because see, remember, a skilled underwriter can piece together a clear picture of your income statement just by looking at your bank statement, just by looking at the transactional inflows and outflows, just by looking at your accounting software reports. Like they will ask you to actually connect your system to their system, right? So for instance, they see exactly what kind of entries you input into QuickBooks or Xero or Wave or Expensify or FreshBooks, okay, or Zoho Books. That way they know exactly what's really happening, okay? And they might also ask you proof of ownership. So you are asking for a no income proof business loan in a large amount, and you want the cash you want the cash real fast. Okay, you have to prove that you are indeed the owner of the business. The lender wants to see that. Okay, they also want to have the correct legal name of the business. So, boss, decision time here. Decision time. Do you have all the information that I just spoke to you about? Business revenue report, personal income report, tax returns for the last 3 years, asset and bank account information, proof of ownership, okay, the correct legal name of the business. Boss, do you have that? If you don't have it, what can you do right now to start actually gathering that data? Boss, talk to me about that. Okay, talk to me about that, because the bottom line here is that eventually providing comprehensive and accurate information can help your application move through the process as quickly as possible. And that's what you want anyway, right? If you want to have a no income proof business loan for a large amount real fast, you're going to have to actually have the paperwork needed. Okay. The thing that I really want to talk to you about also is that you need to determine how much capital you need. Because simply saying, I want a no income proof business loan for a large amount and I need the cash real fast doesn't really solve the problem, doesn't really answer one of the quintessential, interrogations that we have. Because the thing is that how much capital do you need, and why do you need that capital that much? Okay, if you say I need $50,000, okay, I'll give you $50,000. I'll give you 55. I'll give you, listen, hell, I'll give you 60. I'll give you 100. But what are you going to do with the money? And most importantly, how are you going to repay the loan? Okay, this is the kind of clarity, the kind of granularity you have to actually inject into the whole process. You need to have a clear idea about how much you need. You need to have a clear idea how often you will be repaying the loan, and whether or not you'll have enough liquidity to repay the loan over the loan term. Okay, the loan term, the repayment window. It's important. By the way, boss, I want to really remind you of today's conversation. I'm explaining to you how to get a no income proof business loan for a large amount if you need the money real fast. Okay, what are the things you have to really put in place so that you get your loan real fast? So this is actually today's topic. And what I want to say here is that if you are able to prove to the lender that you need, let's say, X amount of money, and that you will be able to repay the loan because you will have generated Y amount of money. Okay, and over a certain period of time, you will get the loan. 9 times out of 10, you get the loan. Okay, but for example, you may explain that you will use the capital to pay for additional office space and furniture, or for a website redesign. Okay, so that's the use of loan proceed. So you need to, because the lender wants to make sure that whatever you're asking the money for, that money will be used to be like the money will be reinvested in the business, because that actually reassures the lender that you'll have enough money to repay the loan, right? Because if you're just taking the money to invest in something else, this is a big no-no for the lender. Because remember, the lender is also trying to cover their asses. They want to make sure that they get paid real fast, that you are in a position where you can repay the loan real fast. So those are important elements to always pay attention to. And one thing I want to say here also is that, when we talk about determining how much capital you need to make sure that you ask for a realistic amount to fulfill whatever operation goals you have, right? Construction materials, for example, have been impacted by recent supply chain issues, right? So which has really, when you think about it, driven up costs. So a remodeling project this year may be considerably costlier than the quote you got 2 years ago. It's all about making sure that you pay attention to what's happening in the economy so that you can ask a loan amount that really works for you and for the lender also. Now, one thing I want you to really pay attention to, boss, is that you need to understand all of your lending options. So you're sitting there and you're asking for a no income proof business loan for a large amount. Okay, but the question is a business loan what you really want? I mean, is it the loan amount? Is it basically the funding requirements or the funding process that you have to go through, because sometimes you can be sitting around and just looking at your business affairs and thinking, how the hell do I get the extra cash to survive till next payday? Okay, I want to make payday, I want to cover my payday, not my payday, I want to cover my payroll. How do I get the funds? How do I get the funds to pay for our inventory? So if you're looking for a no income proof, whatever operational goals you want to reach with a no income proof business loan, you have to make sure there are always options. There are always options. Okay. So a business loan, whether it is no income proof or income proof, is not the only way to actually get additional liquidity. Okay. You might think about a business line of credit, for example. You might think about a working capital loan, for example. You might think about maybe getting a term loan, for example, okay, like a standard loan. The point I'm trying to make here is that there are a lot of options, and sometimes you can also get like an invoice financing arrangement loan. I mean, it's not a loan, but it's really an arrangement. It can be invoice financing, it can be invoice factoring, for example, okay, and also you can have a merchant cash advance. In some cases, all these possibilities exist out there to kind of tell you, hey, listen, you are in good hands. So, but you need to understand your lending options. You need to understand all of your lending options, so you are clear about what type of situation you're putting yourself into. Okay, and the bottom line here is that at the end of the day, everything goes by your geography. It goes by the sector, the specific sector you're in. Okay, if you are, let's say, in Atlanta, Georgia, the kind of lenders you deal with when it comes to no income proof business loan, large amounts, those lenders are different from if you were somewhere in Chicago, Illinois, right? Or if you are let's say in Piscataway, New Jersey, or if you are somewhere in Portland, Oregon. So always make sure that you understand your lending options based on your geography. One thing I also want to say here before closing today's conversation is that you need to consider terms and interest rates. If you're trying to get a no income proof business loan for a large amount needed real fast, you can't just say, you know what, I don't care about the interest rates and fees and whatnot. I just want to get the loan amount. Well, if you get the loan and you get the astronomically high APRs, you get astronomically high charges, you have bad terms and conditions, you're not going to last. You might default on the loan because the loan has an inadequacy between the loan amount, the repayment terms and conditions, and your cash inflows and cash outflows. Okay, and when you default on the loan, well, you know what happens? I mean, your credit actually goes like belly up. I mean, your credit, I'm talking about your credit, your personal credit and your business credit. So this is really important to really understand that there is a clear gap to have. There's a clear delta to draw between your personal credit and your business credit. So which is why you need to consider terms and interest rates very carefully, so that if you're not able to repay, that both your personal credits and business credits are not impacted negatively. Okay, so the question is, sometimes it's just a lot better to say, listen, if I'm looking for a no income proof business loan and the lender, let's say an alternative lender, is giving me like very high loan amounts and a very high interest, like very high APR, maybe I'm better off just going to my bank or credit union. Maybe I'm better off just going back to like a normal, quote unquote, a traditional lender who will ask for collateral for sure, but at least I'm able to get the loan. Okay, because a traditional lender, such as a bank or a credit union, if you have a great relationship with them, they will grant you the loan that you're asking for, even if you are not able to prove income. Yes, it happens only if you have the established relationship, though. In other words, you can't just walk into a bank's branch and say, I want a loan, but I don't have no income proof. No, but if you have a relationship with that bank for, let's say, many, many, many years, 5 years, 10 years, then you are in a better situation to actually say, okay, I'm going to parlay that great relationship into a funding arrangement, into a business credit arrangement, whereby I know exactly how much I'm getting, and I know exactly how much that's going to cost me. Okay, but it will cost you way less than if you were to go to an alternative lender to get a no income proof business loan. Okay, and please be actually big decision time, boss. Big decision time. Please be aware right now And I want you to I want you to put that in your notes right now, that there are some dodgy, scamming business loan lenders out there. Be very careful here. Before you actually apply for a business loan, please, you can send us in the comment section, ask us in the comment section, questions about the legitimacy of a business lender, and we'll let you know either if it's legit or not. Okay, very important. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I'll just share with you no income proof business loan, large amounts needed real fast, how to really get it. And I share with you a few tips and hacks here and there. Okay. I give you the overview, and I give you also the steps you need to follow to make sure you get your loan real fast. Thank you. God bless you. I'll speak to you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.